joining us here, and a group of people, a very diverse group in the room. What do you think of the setting of this room? I actually walked in and thought that one of these mannequins was you.
I did too for a second. I was gonna have sex with
it. It's like one of those real dolls.
This is like kind of like the Springer Show. It looks like I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, not in a bad way. I like the Springer Show.
Nothing's flown across the room yet, but
fight maybe.
You're right. We've got ourselves in this band, in this group, Christian rock star, some diehard groupies, and editor of a very popular Marilyn Manson website, a youth pastor. We're going to take some questions from them now, starting off with Evan Moore. I believe he's in charge of the website. Evan, where are you? Evan, how are you?
I'm fine, fine.
You have a microphone, Evan? I can hardly hear you.
Yeah, I got a mic.
Okay, good.
Your new album, Mechanical Animals, due out tomorrow, symbolizes a lot about drugs, and even in the booklet itself. Do you feel that the media will associate your album with drugs a lot more than usual?
Well, the album has to do with drugs is often used as a metaphor besides the obvious term, and while writing it and after going through the transformation of Antichrist Superstar, I began to feel again emotions for the first time, strangely enough. And the more I began to feel, the more and more the world started to look like mechanical animals, and that was the theme that started running through that. And I was kind of studying in my life and in other people around me, and particularly in Hollywood, how we numb ourselves and make ourselves less human and more mechanical. And I mean, if they want to attach to the drug thing, I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's been part of my life. You know, it's not something that I hide or deny.
What do you attribute that sort of feeling again?
It's probably worse than what I felt last year. You know, I think I put myself through a lot of physical pain to make up for no emotional pain.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people told me, kind of in retrospect, is that when I moved to Hollywood a year ago, I started to repair myself in a lot of ways. And this record lyrically documents that repair.
Jeff Hamilton is here, an actual youth pastor. Jeff, what's your question for Marilyn?
Actually, one of the things that I admire about this whole process has been your transparency from early interviews through these albums, the book, and you're talking about metaphors being in this particular album, and a return to realness and feeling in your life. What does that cost you then, emotionally? What does that cost you relationally, to move from that place of numbness to a place of feeling and interaction and processing with people in your life?
That's a long question.
Well, I mean, strangely enough, it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. You know, I set out to be something superhuman, something, the greatest thing I could be with Antichrist Superstar, and what I didn't figure into that was vulnerability was a part of it, and that was something that I was not acknowledging. You know, I didn't want to feel. And now that I am, it's I'm sure everybody's been through, you know, I mean, it's what life is, and
it's crazy. People love you now.
It's like a rebirth. It's like being an infant. Everything's bright. Everything's very painful, and so in some ways I've gotten back my innocence that I was looking for. You know,
you get some breasts and everybody loves you.
You can't hate them.
Yeah, hell no. Especially yours. Look better than anybody else's. Mechanical Animals also sort of seems like it would entail these people who do follow, and now that you're sort of aware of that, it's interesting because we have some diehard fans, Allison and Jeanette, is it, here, who have carved Marilyn Manson, and you've, I'm sure, met them before.
Yeah, they're friends of mine.
So how do you take to someone who would follow you to the point of self-mutilation? Is that sort of contradicting your own message of this don't follow the status quo?
It depends, because I can't say exactly what they're thinking, but to me, when I look at them and I consider them friends, it's their way of identifying, you know, their way of being a part of something, because the rest of the world has shut them off in some way. And it's their way of expressing themselves, and I'm not one to judge how people express themselves.
Right. Is there any, this has been way too nice, is there anybody here who's not a fan? Anybody have the balls to say that? You're right here with them. Not you, Pogo.
Yes, my name's Rob Hayes. I'm a senior at Princeton University, and I'm also the president of Campus Crusade for Christ there on campus. I'd have to say I'm not necessarily a fan of your whole message, but again, this was something that I found interesting, is that if in my own intellectual pursuits, I find myself and happiness and joy in being a Christian, yet you preach that there is no God and that God does not exist. I mean, is that hypocritical?
That's half true. I'm more
If I define myself,
against the guilt that Christianity imposes, but I think that God exists in art, and there's more spirituality in music than you can find in religion a lot of times. But I'm not one to condemn anyone's pursuit of God or happiness or anything like that. I just think that we're raised to feel very guilty for being ourselves, and that's a large part of what Christianity stands for. But I think there's great and valuable things in the Bible. If anything, Antichrist Superstar was a lot of parallels with my life with someone like Lucifer. Mechanical Animals is a lot more parallels between me and Jesus Christ. So, I've found a different way to relate to things. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be a born-again Christian. It just means that I can find some valid points in your religion. I don't think that everything about it is wrong.
That's been a huge misconception, too, since day one. People thought that you were out there, like, protesting Sunday school. You've never done that.
I kicked the Sunday school teacher. Actually, when I was in...
Who hasn't?
When I was in Christian school, I had these things made out of a ruler and a rubber band with crayons. And we were shooting them at each other, and the principal's wife, who was the Bible teacher, I had it under my desk and I accidentally shot her in the crotch. And so I have reacted violently towards those sort of authorities.
Hence the song Reflecting God, probably. Great song that I miss, actually. The last time you were here,
Don't talk to me about sports.
I know that. I'm not going to make it a metaphor here, making an analogy. Now, like, everybody's coming out to see you. Like the little kid,
That infant?
cops,
Yeah.
they love you.
Queers?
All of them. We're back at Trigger
I love
Mirror's
it.
over here as well. We're going to go right out to Matt Pinfield, who's out there.
Everybody. The president's staying across the street from our hotel. I think that we're going to go over there and see if he's...
Are you really?
I got a cigar. We'll give him oral sex. Why not?
Yeah, what the hell? Take a DV cam and tape it for us. Thank you, Matt.
All right, Carson.
All right,
Thanks.
where's Aaron is a Christian artist who's here. How's it going? What's your question for Marilyn?
Striper?
Striper's awesome.
Those guys from Striper do drugs.
I did drugs with the guys from Striper.
Yeah.
Those guys are
Yeah, so you guys are doing?
no, man.
Striper's our biggest influence. It wasn't for you guys.
I don't think Aaron's
the
in
most
Striper.
satanic band ever.
But
It's
these
great.
works for you represent Striper.
No, I'm not.
Aaron, what you in? Like you guys lump me in. What's your question?
All right,
What's
we
your
did
question?
both.
I saw your new record, that a symbol of Omega, a lot on there. And I noticed that you alluded to yourself as the Omega or whatever. And all I know of the Omega is that God said he's the Alpha and the Omega. What do you mean by that when you say that?
Very biblical reference.
Yeah, biblical.
There's a lot of biblical references still on this record and a lot of numerological references too, but the Omega symbol kind of represents the final stage of what was set forth on Antichrist Superstar. So this is kind of the final evolution of whatever it is
Before
that I
and
am.
after kind of thing.
Yeah. But again, there is some allusions to Christ as well in this record. I was looking at things from a flip side.
We've got another question over there.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, man.
Image has always gone through like these changes, and obviously God through art is something very personal to you. I was wondering, do you see your art going a certain direction? Is it more spontaneous? Like, can you foresee some of the changes that might come in like the next 2 years, or is it just something that comes within on like a?
Well, I think we've really grown as a band, and we're kind of looking at this record as a new beginning, some starting point. A lot of people would think that Antichrist Superstar was the most that we could do. This was our pinnacle, but it's really just the beginning for us, and it's hard to say. I think we're just going to always kind of evolve.
All right.
I'm inspired by what I see around me.
We're gonna go right over to Gene. Gene,
Hi, great.
you have a mic? Okay.
Oh yeah, I love your new look. It totally is
Thanks,
great.
man.
Like it's everything about indulgence and political land. I'm so glad it's back and you guys are bringing it back. But regarding like numerology, you were talking about that. Your new font is like using a 1 and a 5, and then the release date's the 15th, and there allegedly are 15 tracks on the album. Can you elaborate on?
It's also January 5th is my birthday. I'm going to be 30 this year. That's half of my age. There's a lot of different things, but if you look for coincidences, you'll start realizing that there are no such thing as coincidences, that everything has a purpose.
That's what I figure.
Hey, I just have a follow-up to what
Hold on,
this guy
there's people
Gene
yelling
said.
out here. It is
Yeah.
a Springer show, for crying out loud.
Hey.
Wait, make this quick, because we don't have much
I
time.
just have like a follow-up to what this guy was saying. I mean, you know, I respect you guys. I think it's great. You're having your big day and all that. But there are tons of bands that have been doing this whole glitter glam thing way before Manson ever came
course
on
there
the
has
scene.
been.
Yeah, and I respect these guys. I'm glad they're making it. But it's like this whole rock star thing today is not about unity, and it kind of sucks because there's a lot of awesome bands, and there's no more unity anymore. Instead, it's just this selfish, like empire. You know, for each it's.
All right, that's all I thought.
But
What do you say to
I
that?
don't think that they're, you know, I would lend a hand to any band that I saw putting as much effort into what they do as what we do, you know, and I've always had underground bands come on tour with us, and, you know, that's what rock stardom is about, is about self-preservation, you know. If anybody wants to be a rock star, they've got to try hard enough, you know, they're not going to get it handed to them.
And you got to look good doing it, that's for sure. But we're out of time.
That's what I was gonna say.
You know, hold on, we'll chat off there. You look good, brother. Go for yours.
Artist and performer. I want to know who's
All
your
right.
fashion designer. That's
Yes.
what I want to know.
That's all the time we have. Thank you. We'll continue this on.
As long as you wear that
Virgin
codpiece,
Megastore
you are
in New
ready.
York. You can check out that we're doing a signing. Mechanical Animals comes out tomorrow. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.